Kwa hiyo ni engineer wa ile jumba, kwa sababu kuna engineer wa hiyo nyumba hali amechola plan, alafu kuna engineer wa serikali. Lazima watu wawili washirikiane, lakini maengineer wa siku hizi kazi yao kuna hongo. Chuma, nyumba ya ghorofa 10 wanaweka chuma iliyo si ya ghorofa 10. Kwa hiyo lazima itashindwa nguvu kwa sababu ya mzigo ulionao.
All right, moving on, the University Academic Staff Union, that is the WASU, has called on the Ministry of Education to intervene in the ongoing leadership crisis at the University of Nairobi. The dispute, which involves a power struggle between the Deputy Vice-Chancellor and the University Council, has significantly disrupted services at the institution. WASU is now urging the ministry to take immediate action by dissolving the entire University Council, which they claim has caused considerable tension and hindered university operations. The crisis escalated after Education Minister Julius Migos Ogamba wrote a letter to the University Council instructing them to cease organizing meetings until a thorough investigation into allegations of financial mismanagement at the university is completed. The Deputy Vice-Chancellor has claimed to have been sidelined in decision-making process by the University Council, further intensifying the ongoing conflict.
Immediately after the Education Committee left, there was wind that in fact the council was planning on another meeting, which was today. We sounded a warning on that, and gladly that meeting has not taken off. This council does not respect the University of Nairobi dons. It has actually taken over the operations of the university. The Vice-Chancellor has been a spectator.
And we want the public really to know and understand that the University of Nairobi is in dire straits. We are in trouble. We have problems in this university orchestrated by those who are just focusing to plunder the resources of this university and destroy this our heritage. We want to call upon the government to take action now and not later.
Now, Changamwe Member of Parliament Omar Mwinyi has vowed to fight against the imminent eviction of over 400 households from land owned by Kenya Pipeline Company, that is the KPC, accusing authorities of sidelining local leaders and employing intimidation tactics. The eviction is part of KPC's nationwide initiative to clear way leaves for petroleum pipelines to enhance safety by removing settlements that pose risks of explosions due to aging and corroding infrastructure. The affected residents residing in Changamwe, Chani and Airport wards have lived on the disrupted land for years, with many unaware of the looming dangers posed by the pipelines. Member of Parliament Mwinyi has accused KPC of snubbing meetings called by the National Assembly to find a resolution to the standoff and called for the involvement of his office in public participation efforts regarding matters that affect the locals.
Kuna Kenya Pipeline, shirika la serikali, wamekuwa wako na hamu kubwa sana ya kuondosha watu wetu katika makao yao, na wamekuwa wakifanya hiyo jambo kama kwa kisasi, kama kwa chuki, kwa sababu tumewaita kwa mazungumzo, mpaka bunge wamewaita, wakatoa udhuru, hawana nafasi, watakuja hii siku nyingine, hawakuja. Na wakawa the whole of this week wanatuletea maaskari karibu 100-200 ili kuwatisha wananchi wetu, kuwaambia wale wapangaji watoke na nyinyi mtavunjiwa. Sasa unaona wanavunjika moyo, wanakuwa na huzuni, hawalali. Sisi tukawaambia kitu kimoja: nyinyi kweli polisi muko kama serikali, county commissioner mmekuja hapa kama serikali, lakini serikali ni sisi wananchi, na sisi ndio kusema, na sisi ndio tunahitajika kupiga kura kupitisha serikali. Sasa ni lazima mkubali ya kwamba mimi ni kiongozi wa hili eneo, ni lazima mnihusishe katika mambo yenu. Na nyinyi mmekuwa na tabia mbaya, mkitaka kufanya maneno ya magendo, mnaleta watu wenu wa nyumba 10, sijui wazee wa mtaa, wanakaa na chifu na madc, alafu wanapitisha mambo ambayo yanadhuru wananchi baadaye. Na tuna mwanasiasa mmoja, huyu anatumika kama broker. Sitataki kumtaja kwa sasa, lakini nitamtaja. Yeye anatumika kama broker ili anaangalia wale ambao wanahitaji msaada, yeye anajitokeza, na baadaye akishalipwa ameshadhulumu wananchi wetu. Huyo mwananchi, huyo ofisa anaitwa Oscar Sudi. Oscar Sudi ni mbunge wa sijui Keseret kama ni wapi huko. Yeye anatumika kama broker pale Dunga Unuse. Pale kuna plot ambayo ni plot ya serikali. Na hiyo plot ya serikali ziko plot ambazo tume-earmark zijengewe wananchi nyumba affordable housing. Paka wizara ya housing imekwenda pale na ikatambua hizo ardhi. Yeye amekuja kusimamia hao mabwenyenye ambao anawasimamia ili hizi ardhi wazichukue wakiona sisi hatuna habari. Lakini sisi tunajua what is happening in Changamwe. Na that is why watu wengine huwa wanatupiga vita tusiwe wabunge Changamwe kwa sababu wafanye mambo yao ambao wanataka kwa sisi hatukubali. Kwa hivyo tunamwambia Oscar Sudi, kama hujatosheka na ardhi Rift Valley huko, hata za hapa hazitakutosha. Wananchi wetu ni maskini. Wanafanya kazi EPZ, wanafanya kazi za jua kali, pale wanaita ndio nyumbani.
Now, a multi-agency operation led by National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, that is NACADA, in collaboration with local security forces, has successfully confiscated a significant quantity of cannabis sativa from the residential premise of Mwamongesa Village, Kitutu Central Ward, Kitutu Churches South Constituency, Kisii County. The operation, which began early yesterday morning, concluded late in the afternoon after the team was forced to break into several houses to recover the drugs, which had been hidden in various sacks, including some intended for packaging subsidized 50 kilograms fertilizer from the National Cereals and Produce Board. Kisii County Police Commander Ronald Kirui confirmed the seizure, describing it as a large consignment consisting of 50 kg bags for 4.5 90 kg bags of cannabis. Kirui noted that the main suspect, a well-known individual in the region, might have been involved in the drug trade for the extended period. The operation was triggered by a tip-off from a local residence, and authorities have since launched a manhunt for the suspect, warning that he would be arrested if he failed to present himself at the nearest police station.
An agency operation comprising of NACADA, National Police Service, the NGAO, and other security agencies, following a tip-off from a member of the public that there was a drug baron in this particular area. So we came in very, very fast, and upon arrival here, we conducted a search in all these rental houses, whereby we confiscated all these large amounts of cannabis sativa in form that was packaged in 50 kilogram bags. As you can see, this is about 7 bags of 50 kilograms and 4.5 bags of 90 kilograms. This operation also, we went further in some rental houses around this area, and we have arrested quite a number of these drugs. That is in form of some the process around 10-15 kgs. The owner of this facility, because these are rentals, is a person known to everyone in this locality, and it is possible that this person has been conducting this business for quite some time now. And I want to thank that member of the public who was bold enough to report to us about this kind of business that has affected youth around this particular area. We further took the operations to his residence, and we established that the owner of all these premises might have escaped the police, but we want to warn him that he needs to present himself to the authorities. The earliest, the better.
Basically, we have just come as a multi-agency, following some leads within these areas of Jogi Villa, and we are very grateful because of the successful mission, whereby our support team, that's a multi-agency from the National Police Service, the NACADA, and the NGAO.
Right, moving on, Muslim religious leaders in Mombasa County are calling on the government to reconsider the structure of the selection panel for commissioners responsible for managing endowment property, advocating for more balanced and inclusive representation. The leaders, led by Sheikh Abu Qatada, expressed their concerns over the exclusion of the coastal region in the newly appointed 5-member commission, despite the regions holding 90% of the nation's assets. The leaders emphasized that the coast region, which contributes significantly to the property, has not been represented in the selection panel responsible for appointing the commissioners. The 5 individuals appointed to the panel include Jawahir Keinan and Al-Haji Hassan Kirau, Sheikh Ibrahim Ledhome, Sheikh Abdallah Ibrahim, and Samaya Hassan, whose names were published in the government gazette.
Tuna kilio chetu kama wapwani. Kama tunavyojua 99% za wakfu ziko katika ukanda huu wa pwani, hasa katika mji wa Mombasa, mji wa Lamu, na katika majina ambayo kwamba yaliorodheshwa, majina ambayo kwamba yalitolewa ya lejopo la kuchagua wakfu commissioners, hatujapata mwakilishi ama wawakilishi hata mmoja ambaye kwamba anatoka eneo hili la ukanda wa pwani. Kwa ajili hiyo tunahisi coast region bado haijapata ile region balance, bado hawajawakilishwa katika hili jopo ambalo kwamba limechaguliwa. Ombi yetu kwa Attorney General ajaribu kuwapatia pia hawa watu wa ukanda huu wa pwani haki yao, wajihisi pia wameakilishwa katika watu ambao kwamba wataweza kuchagua jopo la makamishna. Wakfu ambazo kwamba watu walifanya ni property zao, ni mali zao binafsi, na ilhali ni wakfu. Kuna wakfu ambazo kwamba watu wamechukua lease ya miaka 100, wanalipa kila mwezi shilingi 2,000, 3,000, na wao wanapokea rent zaidi ya malaki, na hiyo mali ni ya wakfu. Kuna corruption nyingi ambazo kwamba inaendelea. Kuna title deed ambazo kwamba ni za wakfu, watu wameweza kwenda mbio wakabadilisha. Tunaomba jopo kama hili likipatikana, wajue ni masul kesho mbele.
Right, still in County 001, and youth from the coast region have called for greater inclusion in the national government, highlighting the recent appointment of Fikirini Jacob as Sports Ministry Secretary as insufficient, given that 75% of Kenya's population is made up of young people. The call came during a press conference held in Mombasa, where they voiced concerns about the lack of adequate youth representation in the government. The group, led by Ali Kubo, chairman of the Muslim Students Union at Mombasa Polytechnic, emphasized that while Jacob's appointment was a positive step, it did not reflect the true potential or needs of the youth in Kenya. They urged that the government to fast-track the election of the National Youth Council to ensure that young people have a formal platform for representation and decision-making.
Tunasema ya kwamba kumpa nafasi moja bwana PS Fikirini, hiyo ni kitu kizuri, lakini ni kitu kidogo kwa sisi vijana. Kwa hivyo tunadai kama vijana tunaochangia asilimia kubwa ya kura katika taifa hili, tuongezewe hadi asilimia 40 ama 50, ili tuhakikishe kwamba vijana kutoka huko juu, kutoka kwa mawaziri, ma-PS na paka huku chini, kuwe kuna uwakilishi wa uhakika. Kwa waziri wa michezo na vijana, Bwana Mvurya, tunakuomba, tunakusihi, hakikisha kwamba haraka iwezekanavyo umeleta ile election ya Youth Council, ili vijana tujue tunatembea na mrengo mmoja na sauti moja.
National Youth Council election, mtupe proper plan, tujue ni vipi sisi kama vijana tunaweza involve kwa hiyo organization, itusaidie pia sisi, because we want to be in the table.
Youths are not the next generation. Youth ndio generation wa sasa, na kwa mpangilio yote ambayo inafanywa huko kwa national government lazima waangaliwe.
Right, from Mombasa County, we head to Kakamega County. In Kakamega, Governor Fernandez Barasa has launched a free distribution program for planting fertilizer and maize seeds aimed at supporting low-income families, women, widows, and persons with disabilities across the county. The initiative, which is valued at 200 million shillings, is slightly higher in cost than previous years, reflecting the county's increased commitment to supporting vulnerable groups. The program, which began in Matungu sub-county is set to reach all 12 sub-counties within Kakamega, ensuring that farm inputs are distributed fairly and equitably. This move is part of the county government's efforts to enhance food security and empower small-scale farmers who are critical to the region's agricultural productivity. At the launch event, Governor Barasa emphasized that importance of supporting some small-scale farmers to improve agricultural productivity and reduce food insecurity in the county.
The national government is doing the distribution, and we are the last mile, which of course is not enough for our people. And because we have so many vulnerables in Kakamega, we have bought fertilizer, which of course we are going to distribute to all our 12 constituencies, and we are targeting the widows and other vulnerable groups because we believe that Kakamega being a food basket for our people, we cannot afford just to let our people go without having some fertilizer. Most of them have not been able to access the national fertilizer because of the challenges of distribution. But we are now taking this step just to fill in the gap so that the season, by the time we do the next 2 weeks, I know the planting season will be over. And that's why we are taking this initiative, because we know that fertilizer and agriculture at large is a devolved function. This time round, we have put in almost 200 million because we know that the bigger number will be getting from the national government. The other years we have been putting in 700. So because we are understanding that the bigger numbers will benefit from the national government, we only put in 200 million for purposes of giving out to the vulnerables. As I told you, we have almost 150,000.
Now, the Northern Corridor Transit and Transport Authority has signed a contract worth over 97 million shillings for various infrastructure projects aimed at improving the road networks and essential facilities. The initiative focuses on enhancing the transport system along the Northern Corridor, which with particularly attention to the borders between neighboring countries to streamline the transportation of goods, particularly containers from Port of Mombasa. Dr. John Deng Diar Ding, the executive officer of the authority, stated that the primary focus of this funding will be on road repairs and upgrades, especially at key border points to facilitate more efficient movement of goods. He emphasized that the improvements are critical to enhancing regional trade and boosting economic activity across the corridor.
We have a number of one-stop border posts that are connecting Kenya with our neighboring countries. And it starts from Lokriama, that's down at Turkana, supports the Northern Corridor, all the way to Luanda that was presented here. That is going from the northern part of Kenya towards the south. So those are projects that are available for funding. And some of them are at the level of studies, others are at the level of project scoping. They will be presented. We also have a road, for example, connecting Lodwar and Moroto. That's 148 kilometers. That is western Uganda and northwestern Kenya. It's a project that we identified in 2022. We brought the attention of the government of Kenya and is now put in a national network. It's one project we can present. We also have the famous Juba-Narapa road, on which the World Bank is working on. There are areas of stakeholders engagement at the border. There are soft issues that can be addressed as part of the project preparation.
Focus on a project where we can really make a difference in that relatively short amount of time that we have, which is only a year and a half. So therefore, I think we need to be really careful to select projects that really can show visible impact, and we can't solve all the issues within that relatively small amount of time and small amount of budget that we have for this particular project. Just as a caveat for the overall project, I mean, it's a good start. I'm really happy you signed the MOU, but it's a starting point of a journey that we're going together. So from the German government, the project size is 700,000 euros as an initial starting point. That is.
Now, Kilifi County is experiencing a severe fish shortage, with fishermen and fish vendors struggling to find fish in the Indian Ocean. The shortage, which has affected various regions within the county, has caused significant economic strain on those relying on fish for their livelihoods. Led by Kalume Karisa, local fishermen have attributed the shortage to a combination of factors, including climate change and the use of large fishing nets and trawler fishing, which they claim have depleted fish stocks. Previously, fishermen could catch up to 100 kilograms of fish in a day, but now they report catching as little as 20 kilograms, making it increasingly difficult to sustain their businesses.
Sasa tukiingia katika upande wa athari zetu ambazo twaziona hapa baharini, kwanza tutaanza na trawler. Trawler ilipokuwa hazijaja, ilikuwa samaki tukiwapata kiuzuri sana. Ilikuwa tukitoa kidogo tuaja na nguru, samaki kila aina tu, lakini ilipoanza trawler mpaka kufikia saa hii, basi mavuvi yetu yani kilo chao yazidi kudidimia. Kwa hivyo trawler pia ni moja yao ambao ni hatari kwetu sisi wavuvi. Tukija upande wa uvuvi mwingine pia ambao pia ni tafash kwetu hivyo ni hiyo ringnet, kwa sababu trawler ringnet pia tasema zao karibu. Trawler iko juu, chini yake ringnet. Hivyo ni vitu ambavyo vyavua na mashini vyavunja nyumba kule chini za samaki, yashika samaki ambaye tutamshika mwaka ujao. Hao wanaburuta, wanashika samaki wadogo, wanawamwaya, wanatupa. Kwa hivyo vitu vili hivi huwa vina kuifupi yani tunaturegesha nyuma sana tu. Na tukaangalia hali ya weather pia kufikia juzi pa kufikia leo pia weather pia tuone imegeuka, imechange. Hata mimi ambaye nazungumza hapa, kuna wenzangu pia nimewacha huko barini watoa zana zao waje pwani, kwa sababu weather pia nayo imechafua sana. Sisi twaomba serikali yetu hii tuliyoko nayo iangalie sana vitu vili hivi, trawler ringnet iangalie sana, kwa sababu ni vitu ambavyo kilo chao tukiangalia samaki wanazidi kuregea nyuma. Tukifautisha na ile miaka ya zamani, samaki ilikuwa ni wengi, tukitoka hapo nje ya huo mnara nikija kilo 100, kilo 50. Sasa hivi mtu amepata sana ni kilo 20, 15. Na elimu ndio ambayo inatuangalia watoto wetu, tukienda kule baharini, tukija kile tutakachopata, skuli angalia hapo.
Athari ama kutopatikana kwa samaki huko baharini, na kama tulivyo hapa sasa, hii upepo tunausikia, hii wanaita sijui ni climate change, mabadiliko ya tabia nchi. Lakini pia ukiangalia kule baharini utaona maji yako rangi ya brown upstream. Siltation hii inatuaffect sana, na kama tunavyozungumza ni masuala ambayo tunazungumza kila siku juu ya kwa nini samaki wapatikani, na serikali na watafiti. Hawa watafiti waje wafanye utafiti, watupatie feedback, tuangalie ni option gani nyingine wavuvi tunaweza wafanyia.
Right, moving on, the Retail Trade Association of Kenya, that is RETRAC, has raised concerns about the increasing challenges faced by the retail sector, citing the cost of and complexity of doing business in Kenya as the biggest threat to the growth of the industry. In an effort to address these concerns, RETRAC has called on the government to step in and create an environment that supports businesses' survival while reducing the tax burdens that currently stifle operations. This call was made at RETRAC's inaugural Retail Summit, which commenced this week and will run for 2 days. The summit aims to foster dialogue on how to overcome barriers to business growth, with a particular focus on harmonizing the cost imposed on retailers moving goods between counties. According to RETRAC CEO Wamboi Mbarire, some county governments have been charging exorbitant fees for goods and branded vehicles passing through their jurisdiction, further complicating the operations of retail businesses.
Actually, our cry to government is just one: the cost of doing business. If we can work on the cost of doing business, I think we will not only promote local developments, but we will also grow agriculture and manufacturing. I keep saying, I do not think a country can grow on a strong agriculture and a strong manufacturing if it doesn't have a strong retail. Retail is the connection between the consumer and the producer, between the consumer and the farmer. So we need to develop a strong retail sector. The only way to do that is to ensure that we are looking at the cost of doing business.
Yeah, so I think we always need to work with government to grow hand in hand, to be very proactive within policy making and really understand what the needs of the end consumer are. And how do we ease doing business in Kenya? Because ultimately, the final benefit will go to the end consumer. So that's where we need to work very, very closely with government. But at the same time, I believe a government looks at bigger policies, and us as retailers, how do we create a framework ourselves such that we become strong independently, create an ecosystem and a network within ourselves so that we can grow, we can differentiate ourselves and really indulge the senses of our end consumer to make it a great customer experience.
We've had almost 10 years of devolution, and one of the things that we realize is that devolution, even though it's an excellent thing, the implementation has come with a lot of pain points. Right at the beginning, we found that we had created 47 counties, but they were now operating like 47 countries. So moving a product from one to the other was a very significant challenge at the beginning. It still remains a challenge with some counties up to now. So if the national government and the county government can have a conversation that allows them to align the policies, one, it creates predictability. So when you're going to a certain county, you already know what the rates will be. There are things that need to be harmonized. If I'm using my truck through the various counties, it doesn't mean I'm advertising. And if I must pay for it, maybe I should be paying at the source county and then being able to move. So for us, our greatest cry is the cost of doing business. It will also allow us to help and support local manufacturing more.
Right, it is exactly 34 minutes past the top of the hour. That's to wrap up our bulletin here at EBN News at 1. But more news will come your way in our subsequent bulletins at 4 p.m., 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. My name is MACHARIA signing off. Do have yourself a lovely day. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. And as always, let's meet again when God says we do.